Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Garry's Mod. And before I get going, please allow me to be a little bit nostalgic for a second because I can't believe that it's been less than a year since I first played the haunted versions of RP Downtown V2 and GM Construct. I mean, it feels like such a long time ago. So much has changed since then, and I can't wrap my head around that. It just feels like such a distant memory. And speaking of distant memories, look at where we are. A lot of you have asked me to cover GM Big City because a lot of you have said what creepy vibes you got from it. And you know, I kind of feel like that's the inspiration for the haunted versions of these maps in the first place, is how common a phenomenon it is for people to feel like watched or not alone, or just this feeling of uncanniness from these classic source maps. Now, I've talked extensively on this channel about the reasons why I think that is, and I'm not going to kind of retread too much of that ground here, but I just can't believe I haven't come back to this one, because most of the maps that I play on this channel, I play because you guys asked me to play them. They're maps that I haven't actually heard of before the suggestions, but this... I mean, I can remember, in high school when I used to build wire mod contraptions on this map. In fact, I can probably even go to my old channel and, bring up my, 12, 13-year-old memories from this place. Which is why it's going to be all the more uncanny seeing it in this different light.
Bill Cosby is going to go bungee jumping. He has thumbs up and everything, so we know he's cool with it. He's shaking a little there, but I think he'll be fine. He's attached by rope to the... I don't know if you can see it, but he's attached by a rope to the... Alright, there he goes. Crap, I forgot to set the... Alright, I forgot to set the pressure limit on the rope to 0, and he is now plummeting to his doom.
But yeah, I feel like the haunted versions of these maps is just kind of like a validation of what a lot of people have always felt. And especially in the case of Big City, I feel like some of these ambient noises go above and beyond what they are on other maps, because even just standing around here trying to record this intro, you hear those police sirens, they actually move. It's not like distant sounds like on a lot of maps. It's like you can actually hear all this directional activity going on all around you. Hello, have we found our first Easter egg? So I believe the creator of this map is Lucia, who I think is the creator of the haunted versions of RP Downtown V2 and GM Construct. Yes, this is how it begins. I remember finding one of you on the railing of one of the balconies on Construct, only this time, you are not a physics prop. Can I not pick you up? Well, probably for the better. Now, the way I'm expecting this to work, for those who haven't heard of these maps or seen my previous videos on them, are that the maps remain functionally unchanged, but they're modified so that they just kind of screw with you in subtle ways. The kind of thing where you could be playing on Sandbox and just notice something that isn't right. Such as, haha, we're starting early. Oh, let's follow this shadow commuter on his walk. The way I said that kind of makes this sound like a sundown town. I didn't mean to give it that impression. What happens when we approach? I'm actually kind of surprised that we've been able to see this guy for this long. And he disappears as we approach, as expected. Yet, the interesting thing to me about these maps is that they seem just ripe for pranks, because people are already primed to be spooked on these maps, just from the ambient feelings and kind of the vibe that comes with source games. And they're set up so that, it could be, imagine you're playing in a multiplayer server and somebody says, "Hey, did you see that?" And then everybody else goes, "No, I didn't see anything." And it's just little things like that. The kind of thing that'll be gone by the time you move closer to investigate, or by the time you get your friends over to show them. Alright, let's see if there's a way to get to the top of these towers without no-clipping. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it's been a little while. I don't really remember how a lot of the teleports work. Oh boy. Ooh. That hits very, very differently in VR. Oh, also worth noting, I actually didn't play the other two in VR. That was before I got this headset. Oh man. I do not like heights at the best of times, and this is really pushing me to my limit. But I must. The reason I wanted to come up here is because I wanted to get a bird's eye view of the city and see if there's anything we can see from up here. Okay, now I don't know if you can even see that. I can barely see that, and I don't know if it's anything to worry about. But on the top of that drain, at the bottom of that canal, it looks like there's a black dot right above it. Nothing here now, but I don't know if I've ever actually been inside this tunnel. How far can we go? Doesn't come in too far. You know, I don't know if this really belongs in this video, but looking at these towers, I'm trying to think, and I think I only ever actually saw the World Trade Center once in person. And that was like the summer of 2000. My family all went to the Intrepid, and we could see it from the deck. And recently I found a bunch of pictures from that day, and like they're all looking in every direction except Lower Manhattan. I'm so mad. But let's see what's in the other end of this tunnel. I actually never even knew you could go into here. This one seems to be going back a little ways further than the other one did. God, this was not a good video to have dynamic footsteps installed because they are so much louder in my ears. It kind of made me feel like somebody had entered the tunnel behind me. I honestly couldn't tell you if this tunnel expansion was something new. I keep feeling paranoid. I keep feeling like something's behind me. And coming to this is somehow no comfort. If you were going to hit me with something, now would be the time to do it. No. But that was always kind of the trick with these maps, is you only hit with the scares sporadically. You don't do it all the time, or else it just becomes, well, the haunted version of the map. What you want is one that only occasionally almost validates you. That gives you enough to keep going, but not enough to tell your friends you can prove it. Oh, you've got a friend, huh? That's okay, the more the merrier. Although bones do seem to be surfacing in this lot at an alarming rate, we should maybe do some excavation. Or whatever the opposite of excavation is. Yeah, I came back here because I wanted to test... So, the thing I was always mainly paranoid about on this map was that I would look up and see somebody watching me from these rooftops. Or, now that I think about it, from in these darkened little outbuildings here. Hello? Is there anybody inside? These dark little ports are just there to make you feel watched. Now, one thing I've always wondered about these maps is how the scares are actually triggered. I mean, do they happen because I'm walking around, or do they happen on a timer? Like, activity ramps up the longer you stay. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to keep high up on the rooftops so that I'll be able to see something from a distance if it happens, but if something is proximity triggered, then this won't work. I don't know why, but even back in the day when I would play on this map, it always reminds me specifically, with its cubey buildings, of the Omega Man with Charlton Heston. There was always just something weird to me because that city, unlike most apocalyptic movies, it didn't really look to me like an apocalypse had happened. It was just kind of empty. I wonder if maybe I'm supposed to disturb the skulls? Hello. I just caused another one to spawn? Maybe it's because I moved the original out of position, and that's what's causing new ones to take their place? Okay, we're doing some SCP science here. Listen to that echo. Walking down these alleyways, tall buildings on either side. Still, I've been walking around for quite a while, and I've yet to actually see much beyond that shadow figure that first time around. I mean, we've got a multiplying skull population, but that's something for the Department of Animal Control to deal with, I think. Actually, it's kind of an unprecedented problem. Was that me? It doesn't sound like I was moving fast enough for that to have been me. Even when I run, it doesn't make that same sound. So I had a look at the workshop page and found a comment by the creator saying that the triggers won't happen if you're no-clipping or if you're driving, so only on foot. Okay, after all this time, I legitimately did not expect that, but well played. Even better on that one because we only caught a glimpse of it through the open doorway at the back of that small shack. And I feel like that's the way that you have to do this. You have to make it so that it's these short glimpses that you can't even be sure you really saw. And you'll sound like a crazy person when you try to explain it to your friends. I feel like that would be a pretty fun experience, just sounding like a crazy person over and over to your friends on a server like this, only for more and more of you to become the crazy people until you're all on the hunt looking for these things. Well played. Almost didn't see that one. Just how it should be. You're just stalking me at this point. Oh, yeah, I saw the window from down below and I knew there'd be something up here. I don't know why. It's the same trick every time, and every time it gets me. I was getting kind of annoyed that it had been so long between scares, but honestly, I think the distance between them kind of does help them to land a little better. Because by the time I see it again, I've kind of forgotten about it, and I imagine that effect would be amplified when you're trying to just do regular Garry's Mod stuff on a server. This creator also did say in the comments that this map actually has more triggers than any other, but people were, having trouble finding them, and, the creator's been upping the chances of them triggering each time, but I think the main reason for it is because this is primarily a building map, and a lot of the time people playing on this will be in no-clip or in a vehicle, so I think that's one of the reasons why people are having issues getting stuff to trigger. Now, one thing that could potentially add a little bit of variety to this map, especially this one in particular, is to be able to see things happening kind of in the distance, which, less chance that you'll see it, but for those who do, it's rewarding. Of course, for all I know, that is the case. For all I know, that is happening, and I'm just not able to see it. Especially in VR, that might be a little tougher to spot. Worked even better in this alleyway because it's so dark. Actually, that does kind of call back to what I was saying before about those moments where you kind of have to wait for your brain to catch up. We were actually having a discussion about this in the Discord the other day, where one of the ways to do silent jump scares is to have something where you kind of let the audience notice it at their own pace. I mean, a more overt way of doing this would be like the way Signs did it, where, he's going through the cornfield and then you see the alien move and you realize it's been on the screen the whole time. But there's also things like that where you have to be forced down one direction. You're going to see it eventually, but everyone in the audience will see it at a different time. I've been in the theater for a few movies where that happened, and I feel like even if nobody makes a sound, you kind of feel the energy in the room change for those types of scares. It's like you can feel this intensity increasing as more and more people start to get it. And then eventually come the gasps, and eventually the theater just kind of explodes. I find those scares tend to land really, really well with big audiences. I was so lost in my own monologue, I didn't realize I'd walked into a dark parking garage. It seems like the kind of place one might encounter Candyman. You gotta be careful when you're dealing with Candyman, because if you don't watch out, then There's so much about this map I didn't know about. There's really a lot about this map I didn't know about. Where does this lead? Can we use this door? No! Is this part of the haunting, or was this always part of the map? After getting used to the same few tricks, I certainly was not ready for that. We'll have to try that door as well. I've never liked this person-shaped stain. People always put it on the walls, but I feel like it's really meant to be put on the floor. Like a corpse decomposed in that spot. Unless it decomposed leaning against the wall, there's a thought. Okay. I think I'm getting a little bit numb to it now, but if we were on a server playing with other people and these were only occasional interruptions and not something we're hunting for, I imagine it would be fun counting down until the whole server is in a frenzy. What a great prank to play. Alright, I'm probably going to move on to RP Banklaw now, which has also received a haunted version. I don't know if I'm going to split up the videos or make them into one, so I'm going to leave it a little open-ended here and record an outro just in case. But if not, I'll see you there. Next we'll be having a look around the newly haunted RP Banklaw. Although, I suspect that this time around our search will have a little bit more of a coordinated direction than the previous map. Those of you who played on this one know what I'm talking about. And for those who don't, this map basically features a pretty normal RP area on the surface. But there's an extensive underground that was able to creep me out pretty badly the first time around without having to be haunted, so I'm sort of both looking and not looking forward to what this map is going to throw at me. And that looks like a trigger if I ever saw one, so let's just have a walk down this dark side alleyway and see what happens. I said let's see what happens. Come on, what gives? Now, if experience with these maps has taught me anything, it's that the way to go to try and maximize your chance of hitting those triggers is to go to all the landmarks. And that tower is nothing if not a landmark. I'm still confused as to what it's actually supposed to be. It's a really odd feeling revisiting maps from months ago because I mean, like I said, I haven't really been at this for all that long, but some of these maps, they just kind of sit in my mind under the same folder as distant memories. The first time I played this map, I didn't really have too much to say about the surface world. But even then, I was really weirded out by this little ghost town on the outskirts of the city. Oh, and we've got to remember to check out that dark back alley. Wouldn't want to forget about that. That's absurd. I've now passed through 2 little tucked away back alley playgrounds and not been scared once? What is this? Did I download the right map? Heart skipped a little beat when I saw that payphone out of the corner of my eye, but that doesn't count. This is another one of those locations I didn't even like the first time around. Although I will say, I can't really associate this place with scares, because there's another thing that I associate this place with, and that's, when I did this place the first time around, I didn't see it because I was wearing the headset, but the screen capture saw it, and while I was in that tunnel, I got a notification from Richter Overtime. I don't even remember what it was about. It was from the Richter Overtime Discord. And it was cut off, but all anybody saw was, like, hashtag Fortnite feet. And everybody wanted to know, like, Librarian, what was that about? There we go! I just wanted to try one more time to get this to happen, to confirm that I had, in fact, downloaded the right map. There we are. What were you trying to break into? I did not know there was an underground entrance here. Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. Bumpy, 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 bumpy. Please, creators, clip your stairs. These look like burn marks. Is this where you spontaneously combusted? I hate when that happens. Well, I guess this is how we transition to the underground part. Now we're in the sewers. Now, the thing about this underground is that it connects to the surface in so many different areas. And eventually we're going to reach a point where it's kind of linear, but it's going to be very, very non-linear before that. I'm kind of debating if I should go down with the flashlight or the amnesia lantern. I'm kind of leaning more towards the flashlight because, from what I remember, there's going to be some much wider areas that we're going to want to be able to see a decent distance. The amnesia lantern, it has its place, but I feel like for large areas, you want to be able to see more than a few feet in front of you. God, this place... Some of these areas are so pointlessly creepy. But I want to go down, not up. Oh, no. The map is actually creeping me out by its own merits, not even with the hauntings, but knowing that there is a haunting is making this all the worse. No, 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 no. We're going up. We're going up. We need to be going down. I don't quite remember the layout. I remember it being quite confusing until you reached a certain point. And I think that was the idea on the original map, was probably to was probably to have it so that there's like an underground's underground, but only a handful of people are likely to find it during the course of an RP game. I have to say, since I traveled down that tunnel both times, I was kind of worried to test my directional travel theory. I was expecting some shadowy figure to come running out of the darkness, which those who have been watching me long enough know that that's what I always expect in any situation, just as a matter of course. I don't think there's anything down that way. I'm so confused. My instinct is to just keep going down farther and farther, but everything's trying to lead me back up. But I do know that up here leads to the subway platform. I'm trying to think, because this is a situation that I'm not in a whole lot, where I actually have played the map I'm exploring before. Deep pools of water with machinery half sticking out of them. This place is already haunted. Don't go triggering any more of my fears. Yeah, I think we're getting closer. I can tell from how much more terrifying everything is getting. All right. Perfect hallway for a jump scare. Excuse me while I step over my cable. Of course, the one flickering light of dread. Yes, I'm familiar. Two can play at that game. I'll lower my flashlight. You want to come at me with atmosphere? Let's do the full atmosphere. Wait. Okay, now I'm confused. And now I'm less confused. Guys, I think we found it. I think this is where things start to get a bit more linear, but also a lot more terrifying. And I'm not reassured by how long it's been since we saw a ghost. Only the sound of our footsteps and the wind rushing through the pipes. This blood is not part of the haunted map, by the way. This is actually here on the base map. But I'm not stopping until we get all the way down to the bottom. That may even be the point. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. It's the blind corner room. It's the blind corner room. I could have sworn I just saw something hunched over, like, right there. But if there was something there, it was so quick my eyes didn't even really see it. Yeah, that's what happened. Alright. And here is where it all ends. We've managed to come this far without a haunting. And still no haunting. That's odd. We're having a repeat of the previous time, where we get all the way to the end and with nothing to show for it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just having bad luck or what, but people on the workshop page say they're seeing things, so, I mean, I guess all I can do is keep wandering around and hope that something triggers. I can't believe I went through that entire underground and got nothing. That is just my luck. But at the same time, I know I have the right map because I saw that guy breaking down the barricade. Anyway, I've gone ahead and restarted just in case something was bugged. And I think that might be the case because this whole thing actually seems to be running a little bit better as well. Hey! Alright, we're back on track. He's either a really good salesman to have cleared this place out, or a really bad one. Ah, okay, restarting fixed something. At this point, I'm just excited to see you, but we'll see how things are once we take on the underground again. Oh, there you are. I feel like I've kind of done the same move for every event on this map in particular for some reason. I don't know why. That was a much more overt scare than the others. Okay, maybe we can still be surprised. Okay. Ooh. Yee. And all the other vowels. I actually tore the door right off. Is that by chance the door to the way underground? I think it is. Okay, so case closed. We finally solved the mystery of the RP Banclaw monster. We found it. It escaped. Everyone's dead. The end. Which means that down here must therefore be the safest place to be, right? I mean, this is an escaping type of monster, right? Not a return to its lair type of monster, or else why would it have thrown the door off its hinges? You heard those footsteps, right? You heard those footsteps. That definitely wasn't something that was there last time. And here's where I would normally give my outro, but I don't like this location. Worst of all, I don't like the quietness of the location, so gotta blast. Okay. Yeah, so those were the haunted versions of GM Big City and RP Banclaw, once again coming in a pair of one RP map and one GMOD map. GM? I think GM just pretty much means sandbox, right? But anyway, my thoughts on them, I don't know, I think anything I was about to say has been proven wrong by this second pass around this map. I'm pretty sure I just heard a door open over yonder. You know, I feel like I was having really bad luck with these maps this time around because, I mean, the first time I did the videos on RP Downtown V2 and GM Construct, I was just running into stuff left and right. Here, I mean, I put well over an hour into each of these parts, and I haven't really been finding a whole lot, but I will say, the things I have been finding have been effective. And when I was talking about Big City, I mean, I did mention the fact that, you know, I'm here for the purpose of finding these things, but they shouldn't necessarily be super common. I mean, the whole point is to play these in multiplayer and kind of prank your friends with them. It's just kind of funny how, like, super unlucky I was with this, and I'm sure there's a million things that I missed, and if there's anything you want me to come back and maybe find, feel free to let me know down in the comments, because I would love to know. I mean, the only reason I spent as much time with these maps as I did was the fact that, you know, for both of these maps, I went into the comments on the workshop, and people were, like, kind of assuring each other, oh no, there's totally more. It seems like I'm not the only one that was getting unlucky. Well, regardless, if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to do that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. Also added to the description recently, which I've forgotten to mention until now, I will also include a link to a collection of mods that I use in these videos. as well as a tutorial I made on how to get started if you're interested in trying it for yourself. And as always, I will see you in the next one.